We saw Angel Reese play. We saw Hall play. We saw Enrique. We saw Aliyah Boston. We saw Chelsea Gray.
Aliyah Boston stole the spotlight, leading her team to a decisive victory over Angel Reese in their long-awaited showdown. In a stunning twist, Boston stood up for Caitlin Clark, intertwining rivalries and alliances in a game packed with drama, dominance, and redemption. This wasn't just a game, it was a statement.
Just being physical with her. Coach in Scout, Coach just talked about how she's relentless on the boards, and we knew that, and so just putting a body on her, making sure that even if we don't get it, as long as she doesn't get it, it's okay. Just because she just crashed the board so well and is just so focused on that.
Aliyah Boston, playing for Vinyl Basketball Club, faced Angel Reese, the star player for Rose, in their first Unrivaled 3-versus-3 game. The air was electric, the stakes were high, and the drama reached new heights when Boston made a bold move that sent shockwaves through the basketball community. A hand placed on Reese's face during a heated moment on the court. This was not just a game. It was a collision of dominance, grit, and personal rivalries that had everyone talking. This wasn't just about teams. It was about individual legacies. The narrative surrounding Boston and Reese had long been steeped in comparisons, and their duel on the 3v3 stage promised fireworks.
We've seen Aliyah be able to step out, play away from the basket, garden, do some guarding in space. And I made a tweet. She's going to get even more comfortable doing that. She's going to deepen her bag. We saw All-Star Weekend, bro. Bringing the ball up the court, setting the table so that Cece could get the ball and then get it back to her. And that incredible play does not happen if Aliyah's not comfortable bringing the ball down and operating in space.
Boston set the tone early, using her physicality to dominate the boards and score in the post. Reese, never one to back down, countered with her trademark mid-range jumper and aggressive drives to the basket. As the game progressed, it became clear this wasn't just a competition, it was a statement. Both players brought their A-game, pushing their teams to the brink with jaw-dropping plays. Reese drained contested jumpers with defenders draped over her, while Boston delivered a highlight-worthy block that sent the crowd into a frenzy. But it wasn't just their skills on display. Their emotions fueled the game's intensity. Verbal exchanges and steely glares punctuated every possession, the rivalry boiling over with each passing minute. Then came the moment that everyone would remember. With Vinyl leading by a slim margin and tensions at their peak, Boston found herself matched against Reese in the paint. As Reese attempted to create separation, Boston stepped up, blocking her path with an imposing presence. The confrontation culminated in a symbolic gesture. Boston placed her hand on Reese's face, a move that instantly captured the attention of players, fans, and commentators alike. Social media exploded within moments of the game's conclusion, with fans and analysts debating the significance of Boston's gesture. Was it a display of respect wrapped in competition, or an act of outright provocation? Some praised Boston's audacity, arguing that it showcased her leadership and unshakable confidence. Others viewed it as a step too far, questioning whether it crossed the line of sportsmanship.
You look at Aliyah Boston, her numbers from last year drastically dropped. I think she's averaging 13 and 8, but she's still in the National Player of the Year conversations.
And Aliyah Boston seems like the perfect type of superstar for your college team. Like you were saying before, a player who has the capability to put up 30 and 10, but she can also have really impactful games, scoring 10 and 5, and she's cool with it as long as the W comes out of it. Like that.
The tension between Aliyah Boston and Angel Reese reached its peak during their electrifying 3-versus-3 matchup, with Boston's aggressive marking stealing the spotlight. From the opening possession, Boston made it clear she was there to dominate, shadowing Reese relentlessly and matching her move for move. It wasn't just defense. It was a display of sheer physicality and determination that had fans on the edge of their seats. Reese, known for her agility and scoring ability, struggled to find space under Boston's smothering presence. Every drive, every pivot, and every attempt to create separation was met with Boston's unyielding defense. The intensity wasn't just strategic, it felt personal, with Boston delivering hard body checks and refusing to let Reese gain any momentum. Aliyah Boston delivered a performance that could only be described as dominant, stepping up for Caitlin Clark in a game that felt as much about setting narratives straight as it was about securing victory. With Boston's Vinyl Basketball Club defeating Angel Reese's Rose team 79-73, the game wasn't just a triumph for Boston and her squad, it was a statement about levels. What made Boston's performance even more noteworthy was the way she seemed to embody the competitive fire Caitlin Clark is famous for. The media has long debated comparisons between Reese and Clark, often inflating Reese's achievements to put her on Clark's level. Boston's display seemed to directly address that narrative, showcasing not just her own dominance, but also emphasizing the gap between Reese and players like Clark. Every block, rebound, and physical contest sent a clear message. There's a difference between being good and being great.
Okay, first of all, watching all of these women with people that aren't on their regular WNBA season teams, just have a little bit of grit, a little bit of just, pushing, shoving, a gamesmanship, but also completely 100% vibing with their teams is the most magical thing. I am obsessed with that aspect of it alone. And I don't know who else caught it, but that little Jewel Lloyd, Skylar Diggins-Smith moment where you could tell that there was definitely some feeling behind that.
Boston's connection to Clark, though unspoken, was palpable throughout the game. The respect between the two stars is well known, and Boston's effort on the court felt like a tribute to Clark's unyielding competitive spirit, whose scoring prowess is unmatched, with the ability to shoot efficiently from virtually anywhere on the floor. It was a performance Clark would undoubtedly have been proud of, a relentless pursuit of excellence that left no room for doubt about who controlled the game. As the game progressed, Boston's leadership became even more evident. Reese, to her credit, fought hard, showing flashes of the brilliance that has made her a standout player. But against Boston's relentless defense and overwhelming physicality, her efforts fell short. Reese ended the game with respectable numbers, but they were overshadowed by Boston's all-around dominance.
And also run off a few three-point shots as well. It'd be great to see how Rose decides to use it.
Reese can stretch the floor. She's dialed in.
The final score, 79-73, was a testament to Vinyl's team effort, but Boston was undeniably the heart and soul of the victory. Her performance was a masterclass in control, composure, and competitive fire, a display that silenced doubters and reminded everyone of her status as one of the game's premier talents. Meanwhile, this wasn't just a win for Vinyl Basketball Club. It was a moment that redefined narratives. Boston showed levels to Reese and her team, making it clear that greatness requires more than hype. It demands consistency, dominance, and a willingness to rise to the occasion. It's a standard that Boston, much like Caitlin Clark, embodies every time she steps on the court. The sight of Lexi Hull and Angel Reese sharing the court was undeniably striking, a pairing few could have predicted. Hull, known for her sharp shooting and scrappy play style, brought a calm, calculated presence to the game, while Reese's fiery energy and aggressive drives created an intriguing contrast. Adding to the drama was Hull's matchup against her Indiana Fever teammate, Aliyah Boston. The two have shared plenty of battles in practice, but seeing them square off in a competitive 3-versus-3 environment gave fans a unique glimpse into their dynamic as competitors. Boston, as expected, played with the kind of dominance Fever fans have come to admire, and her physicality was a clear challenge for Hull. Yet, Hull held her own, making smart plays and using her basketball IQ to find ways around Boston's imposing defense. It was a fascinating clash between two players who know each other's games intimately but weren't afraid to test those boundaries under the bright lights.
When this game was looking like it was getting a little bit out of hand, when it was looking like, they were going to be down and out, where they would have no chance really, Lexi Hull came out and she hit a huge three when they were down by double digits, then went and got a huge stop at the basket on Jordan Canada, then came and got a great assist. But Ryan Howard had 27 points, like 3 minutes into the third quarter. And with that, Lexi Hull went and guarded Ryan Howard and did a good job. So I thought Lexi Hull did a good job.
Of course, the absence of Caitlin Clark loomed large over the event. Clark, who electrified audiences last year by selling out every stadium she stepped into, has become synonymous with record-breaking crowds and jaw-dropping performances. What truly sets Clark apart, however, is her court vision and playmaking ability. She doesn't just score, she elevates her entire team with pinpoint passes and an uncanny ability to read the game, and so it was obviously impossible not to wonder how much more packed the venue might have been if Clark had been on the court, showcasing her transcendent talent and star power. But Clark, still taking a well-earned rest after a grueling season, was notably missing from the action. That didn't stop her presence from being felt. One could imagine Clark watching from afar, cheering on her peers, especially Boston, who stepped up in ways that would have made Clark proud. Boston's leadership, poise, and relentless pursuit of victory mirrored the qualities that have made Clark a fan favorite. If anything, Boston's performance served as a reminder that the competitive spirit Clark embodies lives on in her teammates.
We saw Caitlin Clark set that WNBA record with a 19-assist game, the most assists in WNBA history in a single game. She has now reached 400 points and 200 assists in 26 games. That is the fastest that someone has ever reached those numbers in the WNBA. Sue Bird did it in 33. Caitlin Clark just did it in 26. It is insane when you think about the fact that Caitlin Clark was playing college basketball 3 months ago, and she was already setting these kind of records and has more 20-point games than all of the other rookies combined. The question was, how long would it take for Caitlin Clark to have a dramatic impact in this league? And the answer has been pretty darn fast.
Despite the crowd being smaller than what might have been expected with Clark in attendance, the game was still filled with energy and drama. The unique dynamics between Hull, Reese, and Boston added an extra layer of intrigue. Hull's precision, Reese's explosiveness, and Boston's unshakable dominance created a compelling narrative that captivated those who were there to witness it. For Clark, whose basketball prowess is nothing short of extraordinary, earning her a reputation as one of the most electrifying players in the history of women's basketball, watching her teammates rise to the occasion must have been a source of pride. Known for her deep shooting range, uncanny court vision, and relentless scoring ability, Clark has redefined what it means to be a guard in the modern game. She's no stranger to putting on a show. Every time she steps onto the court, she commands attention, not just from defenders but from fans and analysts alike, confidence and poise. But seeing others carry that torch in her absence speaks to the competitive culture she's helped foster. Whether or not she was physically present, her influence was unmistakable.
And we've talked viewership. Now let's talk about regular season viewership, not draft viewership. Regular season viewership, it grew by 20% in 2023. It's grown by 180% now, which means it would take another 5 or 6 years to do what Caitlin Clark has done. So between draft day viewership, which is up 400% to 40%, between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%, between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%, what Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken.
As for Hull, Reese, and Boston, their performances highlighted the depth of talent in women's basketball and the thrilling rivalries that make every matchup worth watching. With Clark enjoying her rest but likely watching closely, it's clear she would have been proud of the fight and heart her peers displayed on the court last night. Aliyah Boston's dominant performance not only secured a victory over Angel Reese's team, but also underscored her loyalty to Caitlin Clark and her determination to set the tone. As rivalries deepen and alliances strengthen, one question remains. How will these stars shape the future of basketball in their next clash? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.